Whether your home is starting to feel a little bit too small, or maybe it's just time for an upgrade, I have created the ultimate guide to upsizing specifically in Vaughan, where we're going to break down a couple of the key factors to look for when making this move. At the same time, we're going to break down three of my favorite neighborhoods, specifically for detached homes, that you're going to want to keep an eye on. So before we get into that breakdown, a little bit more about me. My name is Sue McClay. I am with Tyler McClay Realty Group. I did study at the Schulich School of Business, where I got a degree in marketing and strategic management. And then I hopped into real estate full time. It is truly my passion. I've been doing this for a little over 7 years now, but it sometimes feels like a lifetime because I was doing open houses before I could walk or talk with my mother. I am a third generation realtor, so I've been around this business my whole life. I learned from amazing mentors in my family, and now I've had the pleasure of transacting with my own clients for several years, helping hundreds of people find not just a house that checks all the boxes, but a place to call home. So with that, let's get into the right time to upsize. Now, there's three big things that kind of drive this next move for you. Number one, your family is growing and you need more space. Number two, simply a lifestyle change. At a certain point, it's time to make a move, and the house that surrounds you is going to support that. And then number three, which in my opinion is one of the biggest things because this plays a huge factor in that move, is the market opportunities out there. Now, the current market presents a lot of opportunities specifically for upsizers because not all markets are the same and have the same opportunities depending on what kind of move you're making, whether you're buying for the first time, whether you're downsizing, or whether you're upsizing, right? Or an investment opportunity. So, right now, given the state of the market, there's a lot of opportunity for people like you that maybe want to sell their current home and move into something larger because the gap between asset classes is smaller. So, meaning moving up to that detached is easier in a compressed market like this. So, before you choose an area that you would like to upsize to, there's a couple of things that you want to keep in mind. Now, I've been doing this a while, and these are the six main things that I always like to focus on when making this move and looking at areas to upsize. When it's Vaughan, and I love Vaughan, I was born and raised in Vaughan. It's such a fantastic area. However, Vaughan is quite vast, and there's a lot of areas in Vaughan that some feel more like the downtown core more and more, and some still have that almost country like feel that Vaughan was like going back 20, 30 years. So, depending on what's important to you, you might pick and favor different areas. However, based on these six pillars, this is what I find are the most important when looking to upsize, specifically for the young couples or families and things like that. So, obviously, the accessibility, whether you're commuting, whether you're taking transit, the community that you live in, you want to have that sense of community. You want to make sure that you have the support in your community because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. The amenities, so what's nearby, what is supporting and building that lifestyle that you are looking for. Obviously, if you have kids, schools, or if you're planning to have kids, schools is a huge proponent here because you want to make sure that there's good quality schools in the area for your kids to attend. Then growth is kind of twofold. So we want to make sure what is coming to the area. Number one, if it's going to be something like a condo building coming to the area, maybe we want to veer away from that location because that's going to feed into the congestion or a lot of the things that maybe you don't want. But at the same time, we want to look at other growth opportunities like hospitals, parks, recreational centers that will, one, improve the quality of your life, and two, help the resale value whenever that time comes. If you do choose to sell, help the value of your home grow. And then safety, I think, you know what, this one should have been at the top because this is of course the number one priority, but majority of the areas in Vaughan I feel that are very, very safe, okay, and a great place to raise a family, plant some roots, or call home, as I do. So getting into this, these are going to be the top 5 things we're going to analyze on these next 3 areas and how I picked them, just so you know, these are the reasons why these are the top 3 areas that we're going to look at. Number 1, okay, on the far left, you'll see price point. In these areas, you can find things below 1.1 and far above 1.5, but there is a great amount of detached homes that you can purchase between this 1.1 to 1.5 range that will check majority of the boxes. I always say if something checks 10 out of 10 boxes, it's usually out of your budget, okay, for most people. But all 3 of the areas that we're going to talk about have a good amount of inventory. And that's the nice thing about this market as well. There's inventory for you to browse through. There's options for you, and they're within this price point, okay? Now, schools, amenities and groceries, community recreation, transit, and highways are going to be the 5 key factors that we're going to analyze here that are also the reasons why these are my top 3 areas for Vaughan. Okay, so let's get into it. Number 1 is going to be Maple. Of course, there are some fantastic homes built in Maple, some on the older side, some on the newer side, some that have been renovated, but they do fall within that attractive price range, sub 1.5. Okay, and a lot of them are a great size for the price that you're going to pay. A lot of people, when you think of Vaughan, you do think of congestion. If you're thinking of that Jane and Major Mac hub, okay, where Cordalucci Hospital is and Wonderland, can feel a little bit busy. But those are not the main pockets that I'm talking about. There are some fantastic pockets that have that ball hockey street feel that a lot of people are looking for. They're going to give you that sense of community, and they hit all 5 pillars. So we'll go through these really quickly. That the schools in Maple are some of the top ranked in all of Vaughan. When you look at the amenities and groceries, you have a lot of options between cafes, grocery stores, gyms, restaurants, a lot of options here in Maple. And that same hub that might feel a little bit busy is also a stone's throw away for you to enjoy and have all of the essentials that you need. Then on the community center side, there's a lot of parks, a lot of green space. One of my favorites that I want to mention is the North Maple Regional Park. It's almost 900 acres with a ton of green space and beautiful walking trails. If you've ever been there, you know how beautiful these walking trails are. And then transit, you have the Maple Go station. So if you don't drive or you have older kids that need to be commuting into the city, or for whatever reason you need that transit line there, you're also close to the bus lines that run to the VMC, but the Maple Go station is fantastic. Also, you are very close and easily accessible to the Highway 400, which again helps make those commute times a lot shorter if you're closer to the highway. Then we'll get into the next location, which is Velour Village. A lot of the homes in this pocket are a little bit newer, with still being in that price bracket that we talked about earlier. So you can still buy a beautiful home in Velour Village under that 1.5 mark, detached on a beautiful lot. A lot of these have those mature trees, which I love. Some have the ravine in the back, if that's something you're looking for. So great options, great pricing right now, and also hit these 5 pillars that are so important. So the schools, again, you've got public, private, Catholic schools very close by, amenities and groceries, a lot surrounding that Weston Rutherford hub where you have groceries, you have cafes, all the essential services that you would ever need. You also have a variety of parks in Velour Village, probably the most parks, with over 20 green spaces and walking trails. Again, beautiful walking trails. I myself love taking advantage of the trails in this area, and the Velour Village Community Center. Now, in terms of transit, you are on the YRT line, so it's a very easy connection to get to the VMC and then go wherever you need from there. Same with the highways, easily connected to all major highways, so very convenient and helping with those commute times. Then, last but not least, definitely not least, is Kleinburg. If we went back a couple of years, this neighborhood would definitely not be on this list, but there's been a lot of development and a lot of changes in the Kleinburg area, especially on that Major Mac and 27 area. Construction there and a lot of the homes were starting to be built and occupied now over 10 years ago. Okay, so there's a lot of options, a lot of changes. But in recent months, almost, I will say is months, there's been a lot of new development in that area with groceries and amenities, making the Kleinburg area, especially around the Major Mac and 427, now with the amazing 427 extension. Great options here for people where you don't have to then drive 10, 15, 20 minutes to get to the essential services and the grocery stores that you need. So that is why Kleinburg is now on this list. They have the schools very easily accessible. They also have French immersion, which is a very popular choice for a lot of people. And the groceries, like I said, there's now the Longos that opened at 427 in Major Mac, which is a great new addition to this community, making it a lot better value, in my opinion, and adding value to the neighborhood. And then in terms of rec centers and community, you've got, again, walking trails, parks, Binertwine Park, East Corners Park, a lot of green space here, and plus Copper Creek Golf Course, if that's something that stands out to you. But big fan of the parks in this area that make it very livable and give it that community feel without the congestion. Okay, transit, this is the one where it does fall a little bit short, not as transit friendly here in Kleinburg. So this I would lean to a little bit more if you are commuting via car, because with that 427 extension and all other highways very close by, it is definitely easier if you were driving. But otherwise, Kleinburg is a great option, again, with options under 1.5. So a lot of homes in this area, there's great options above and below that 1.5 threshold, but you can now buy a beautiful detached home, good size, 3 to 4 bedrooms, nice lot, nice backyard, checks a lot of the boxes, and it is sub 1.5. These again are that newer construction, and a lot of them are in that 427 and major Mac pocket, but above and beyond that area as well, there's some great options here. So if you are ready to upsize, if you have questions about the process, or you're just curious about what that move would look like, click the link below to schedule a consultation call with myself, and we can talk more about it and talk more about what your goals are in this move. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching.